With Season 4 of the CG Open Invite coming up soon, I thought it was only best to play Crystal Beast on a video here because the first place prize of our upcoming tournament is going to be 3 copies of the Crystal Beast structure deck. So we're going to show off a little bit about what the deck can do here. Of course, this is a Master Duel list, so certain things are different. But it's a really fun deck, and it's one that quite a few people in the Discord are a fan of, and myself included. It's a very different sort of speed of control strategy. Really am a big fan of it. It's surprisingly viable and it's a lot better than people give it credit for, right? This deck is not terrible at all. I really love playing it, and to be honest, there's a lot of people in the Discord as well who can play it an awful lot better than I can. So if you want to get to grips more with how to play this deck, absolutely hop into the Discord. This is just going to be a few replays showing off sort of how the deck plays, some of the key cards, some of the key combos. You can hop into the Discord for a more in-depth breakdown on the deck from myself or from anyone else there who is willing to do so, because there's quite a few. But yeah, we're going to keep this one nice and simple here. Subscribe if you're new around here if you want to see our tournament replays coming up. If you want to join our tournaments, by all means. If you want to see more videos, see more streams, see more whatever, subscribe. We do it all the time. And like the video if you do end up enjoying, or if you just like Crystal Beast. Without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. Already getting into game 1 here. We're starting off going first. This is just going to be a quick demonstration, this one here. We're going to go Rainbow Bridge, popping our Crystal Beast to grab ourselves Crystal Bond. Crystal Bond then grabs us a Pegasus while placing a Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon into our Spell and Trap card zone. We're going to normal summon our Sapphire Pegasus here, placing Ruby Carbuncle into our zone. Typically, you don't really want to worry about Ruby Carbuncle going into your zone here because you can summon it from from deck or graveyard off of Awakening. So we're only really placing it here so that we can later destroy it and then resummon it from grave with Awakening as we progress. They're going to go Max C here, activating Max C. We don't summon a ton with this deck. You can kind of play through Max C, but at the same time, even 2 or 3 cards could spell the death of you. So Ash Blossom definitely negating that. We're going to summon out our Cobalt Eagle, grabbing Rainbow Dragon, going for Awakening of the Crystal Beast here, revealing the Rainbow Dragon, sending Salvation directly to the graveyard so we can activate it in the grave, banishing it, grabbing another Rainbow Dragon with a Necro Valley, and that's when our opponent decides to scoop it up. And there you go, that's pretty much the guts of the combo, really. You're able to set up a bunch of bounces, you're able to search your deck for Necro Valley, have some pretty big beaters in the form of your Rainbow Dragons, as well as a full rank 4 toolbox. We probably would have ended on Baguska and Necro Valley in that particular occasion, then used our Crystal Heart and our Awakening of the Secret Beast, or Ultimate Crystal, to bounce a card during our opponent's turn, as well as set up a whole pile of follow-up for our next turn. So yeah, there you go, pretty straightforward stuff. Let's get in the game too. Alright, game 2 here is going to be a much better demonstration of what the deck can do. We're going to go for Noble Knight's Shield Bearer. Now, this is a bit of an odd one. Shield Bearer can basically banish itself to search your deck for any level 6 or lower wind, a beast monster, which can be your Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, or it can be Diane Virium. Typically, you want to grab the Pegasus if you don't already have it, but we already have a million ways of getting it in this hand, so we're not too worried about it. So we grab Diane Virium, which is basically a free special level 4 special summon. Which is awesome because that really does help your rank 4 Exceed package. We're going to set up our Rainbow Dragons. We're going to go for Pegasus, activating the Rainbow Dragon, summoning the Cobalt Eagle Ball, grabbing a Rainbow Dragon from the deck, activating Crystal Bridge to grab Crystal Conclave, Rainbow Bridge for Crystal Conclave. Dugaris then, Dugaris going to detach 2 materials, going to draw 2, discard 1. We get to drop our Salvation to the grave, activating Salvation, banishing it to grab ourselves a Rainbow Dragon as well as our Necro Valley. That's a pretty core part of this combo, being able to search your deck for Necro Valley. We're going to pop a card to grab our Crystal Miracle here, which is essentially an Omni Negate. We're going to summon our Pegasus as well, setting up the Rainbow Dragon, going into Mask Arena to make use of that Dugaris, activating Necro Valley. So what have we got here? We've basically got 2 bounces, an Omni Negate, and Necro Valley, as well as, of course, a Unicorn play. So we have a ton of interruption here. It is a bit of an unfortunate matchup. You're going to see I make a pretty big mistake here in just a moment. This is fine. You can't chain this card's effects to its activation, so you just want to have this face up in advance. So that's why we're flipping it face up. He's going to draw a card here. He's going to activate this, and we negate it. And this was literally just me not reading the card. I looked at the card art and I thought that was Number Reveal. That's what I thought that was. It's actually Card of Fate. I thought this was Number Reveal. I thought he was going to summon Rongo. and I panicked and flipped up the Crystal Miracle. That was a total misplay on my part. I didn't look at the card, I just looked at the art and it looked similar, so I panicked. So we negate the Card of Fate, that's fine, and then he's got Contract with Dawn 1000, he draws in the Seals Band, he's got Numbers Reveal, and we all know how this goes from here. Rongo comes out, it's completely unaffected by everything, and its effects are going to be pretty much permanent thanks to Seals Band, and yeah, that's pretty much the head of it. We really don't stick around here for very long, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Huge misplay for me, 100%. Again, but it was still a really good demonstration of what the deck could do and set up. Not exactly the best conclusion there for us, that was me being an idiot, but at the same time it shows off what the deck can do really well, so I still wanted to show this game off. Alright, getting into our next game here, we've got Maxi and Necro Valley already in hand. Rainbow Bridge is going to grab us Crystal Bond. We already have Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, which means we kind of wanted to have our Pegasus to hand. They are going to Ash our Prosperity, which is absolutely fine by me. That was totally bait. We're going to go for our Rainbow Bridge here, activating Crystal Bond, grabbing ourselves a Pegasus. Pegasus then, of course, well, we're also going to place a Rainbow Dragon. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart will allow us to additionally normal summon our Pegasus, placing another Rainbow Dragon face up, activating its effect to summon out the Cobalt Eagle and grab the Rainbow Dragon. Very standard play. We're going to pop the card there to grab ourselves a Crystal Conclave, setting up the Necro Valley and the Crystal Conclave. And this doesn't look like much, but this is pretty big, right? First of all, many of the top strategies in the game can't really work through Necro Valley. Branded can. Lubellion now gives them the tools to play through Necro Valley because they can summon itself from the graveyard regardless of Necro Valley, which is a pain. But many of the top decks simply cannot play through Necro Valley. And that is important to bear in mind. We also have essentially 2 bounces as well as a maxi. So Crystal Conclave will bounce a card, Rainbow Bridge of the Heart will bounce a card, and maxi, of course, prevents him from special summoning. And there you go. I know I'm showing off a couple of quick games here where your opponents are just scooping, but to be perfectly honest, that's what happens. See, as soon as you flip up Necro Valley, or as soon as you play whatever cards it is you're playing, it's a lot of the time they just leave. They just don't want to play through it. Like, if you put up Bagooska Necro Valley, there's not going to be a turn 2 to that duel, because they're just going to look at that board, pick up their deck, and move on to the next game. So, it is what it is. Let's get into game 4. Alright, getting into game 4, we drew both of our field spells, which we're not really a fan of here. We're going to go Crystal Bond, special summoning Diantherium here. He is going to chain Max C to that. Now, we decide to go for Call by the Grave because we have a couple of special summons planned. Again, even drawing 1 or 2 cards off of Max C is very detrimental. Even if you summon twice, that's Pot of Greed, right? Would you Ash Blossom on Pot of Greed? Yeah, you would. We're going to go Crystal Bond, grabbing ourselves a Pegasus, placing the Rainbow Dragon face up. We're going to activate Pegasus, grabbing another Rainbow Dragon. Now we'll banish this one to summon out the Cobalt Eagle, grabbing a Rainbow Dragon from the deck before Exceed summoning into Bagooska. And we're simply going to end on Bagooska Necro Valley and hope that that can carry us through. Again, in a lot of cases it can, but there are certain decks that can play through this. One of those being Kaiju's, for god damn it. So a lot of blowout cards, a lot of blind going second decks are going to give you hassle. Luckily those aren't too popular right now. They're going to go Relinquish Tanima. They're going to set up 6,300 points of damage. That's not lethal, so we do have one more chance to top deck and try to turn this game around. They were not impacted by our interruptions at all, but they are going to start their turn with Max C. We're going to use the Awakening here to search our deck for a Rainbow card. We're going to grab a Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. Moving into main phase 1, we're going to activate Rainbow Bridge of the Heart using its effect to pop the Pegasus to grab ourselves a Crystal Bond. Crystal Bond activating to grab ourselves another Pegasus while placing the Ruby Carbuncle into the Spell and Trap card zone. Rainbow Bridge is going to bounce back the Anima to his extra deck so we can go into it again. We can't summon the Pegasus because we die if he attacks it, so we have to play it in defense. But he's got Change of Heart, so what do? I wanted to show that, again, not every duel is going to be like crazy amounts of combos, and there are certain decks that does beat this quite handily. A lot of blind second decks do really well. Unless you've got a set miracle or something like that, they tend to sort of blow you out a little bit. But there you go. There's the games. Let's get into the deck profile. I'm not going to claim to be an expert when it comes to Crystal Beast. Many of the sort of plays and strategies and cards came from other members in the Discord, giving me a bit of a heads up. So if you want more sort of specialist help or want to ask questions, that may be the place to go. But we'll cover off the deck list as it is here, just in case you want to play it and test it out, give me a wee try. So we're going to start with hand traps. Triple Maxi, double Ash Blossom, we've got double Shifter. Your deck can play through Shifter, which is usually a pretty good tool against things like tier limits. Although it's not mandatory if you don't have it, I wouldn't stress yourself out over it. We've got, well, the field spells are pretty important. We've got double Call by the Grave and a single Crossout Designator. Just as many tools to stop Maxi as we can, although it doesn't break your back in this deck. You still don't want your opponent even to draw twice, 2 or 3 cards, right? It's still super detrimental, even if you're not playing a crazy combo deck. So, in terms of our Crystal Beast, we're playing a singular Ruby Carbuncle, single Cobalt Eagle, triple Sapphire Pegasus, triple Rainbow Dragon, and one of the OG Rainbow Dragon. So, they all sort of have different effects, and they're here for different purposes. The primary one, of course, is Sapphire Pegasus. Sapphire Pegasus on summon will place a Crystal Beast card from your deck into your face-up spell and trap card zone, and that is most prevalent alongside your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. This card, while it's in a continuous, as the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell, will be able to banish itself to special summon from your deck a Crystal Beast while adding a Rainbow Dragon from your deck to your hand. So really solid value out of this. You just summon your Pegasus, place this into your spell trap card zone, activate its effect to summon out usually a Cobalt Eagle, and then grab your Rainbow Dragon. Cobalt Eagle is here exclusively because it's a Crystal Beast that can be summoned off of this, and it's also level 4. That's literally it. He is just here to be summoned off of Rainbow Dragon, and because he's a level 4, which allows you to go into your Exceed package. Then we got Ruby Carbuncle. Ruby Carbuncle, when this card is special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters from your spell and trap card zone as possible. Pretty good for going for lethal off of something like your Awakening. Rainbow Dragon is here exclusively for its name, and to be searched off of this to enable its effect, as well as to be revealed off of Awakening. You just need to have this card in your hand. You're not going to play it. You don't have enough Crystal Beast to even summon it. It is exclusively here for its name. Another cute little thing that the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon does is that if one of your Crystal Beast battles, be it a monster or attacking directly or whatever, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's a nice little summonable 3k beater. So that's the Crystal Beast monsters. In terms of our other monsters, we're playing 2 copies of Noble Knight's Shield Bearer and a singular Dian Furium. Noble Knight's Shield Bearer can basically banish itself from your hand in order to add a level 6 or lower Wind Beast from your deck to your hand. So it'll either search your deck for your Pegasus if you don't have it, or if you already have the Pegasus, then it will search your deck for Dian Furium. Dian Furium literally just being a monster that special summons itself from the hand for free. So it just enables an additional sort of rank 4. One of the biggest problems that this deck will face is that sometimes going into your rank 4 Exceed will remove all of your Crystal Beasts from the field, and for certain cards like Conclave or Miracle, you really would rather have some Crystal Beasts on the field. So having Dian Furium enabling another level 4 extender means that you can typically use him and your Cobalt Eagle to go into a rank 4 Exceed without actually getting rid of your Pegasus, meaning you still have a face up Crystal Beast. That's really the reason. I would honestly be tempted to play more copies of this, because it is actually a really solid addition to the strategy. Initially it was added in as a meme by one of our Discord members, but I really liked it. I think it's really good. Getting into spells and traps, we've got 3 copies of Rainbow Bridge, which will grab any crystal spell or trap from deck to hand. We've got Crystal Bond, which will grab you a Crystal Beast from deck to hand, as well as placing one into your spell and trap card zone face up with a different name. It's a decent way to get your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon face up in spite of them potentially trying to negate a Sapphire Pegasus. So, you know, it's pretty decent. I would usually just place this guy even if my intention is still to place another copy with the Sapphire Pegasus. It just means that even if they have like a Veiler or an Imperm, they can't stop it. Prosperity to search your deck for cards, basically. Zombie World and Necro Valley, I said those the wrong way around, are field spells, very powerful floodgates that can be searched through your Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. Necro Valley, of course, prevents the banishing of any cards from the graveyard, as well as the negating of any card effects that would move a card from the graveyard to a different place. Now, I should mention specifically that inherent effects, like inherent summons from the grave, like the Bestial Lubellion, do play around Necro Valley. So Necro Valley doesn't stop Branded as hard as it stops other decks. It can, of course, stop like Albion and Lubellion's effects and all of those. But they are still able to set up their Lubellion, the Bestial Lubellion, and they are able to use Branded Beast to then subsequently pop your Necro Valley. So it's not as if you're putting them to bed completely, but it is still somewhat decent in most matchups. Zombie World, however, does play against Branded significantly better, because for them to summon their Bestial Lubellion, they need to tribute a dragon. Zombie World, of course, makes sure they don't have any dragons on their field at all. Zombie World and Necro Valley are both super good against tier elements. Zombie World is pretty good against other things like Flounderize. It's a little bit better against Flounderize than the Necro Valley. But yeah, there's a basically between these two cards, you can counter most, if not all, top tier strategies to at least some extent. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart has a few effects to it. During the main phase, you get an extra normal summon of a Crystal Beast monster, which is amazing. Again, really helping out that rank 4 toolbox. Your Crystal Beast of the Heart, you can pop a face-up Crystal Beast monster or card to search your deck for a Crystal Spell or Trap, which gives you just an extra search. And lastly, if a Crystal Beast monster is placed into your Spell and Trap card zone while this card is face up, you can target this card and a card your opponent controls, return both to the hand. Now, basically that means it's got an extra summon, it's got a search, and it's got interruption, all built into one. And remember, you can proc this effect here during your opponent's turn to bounce a card, because you've got Miracle, which places cards, Conclave, which will help place cards, your Crystal Beast automatically go to the back row when they're destroyed. You've got Awakening to summon a Pegasus to trigger it that way. You've got so many ways of triggering that little interruption there that you'll basically do it once per turn, every single turn, even your opponent's turns, which makes it a very consistent source of interruption. We've got 3 copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. Now this is, for most people, just E-Telly at home, right? Take a Rainbow Bridge or Rainbow Refraction card from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard, or special summon a Crystal Beast monster directly from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or from a Spell and Trap card zone. So basically just let you summon any of your Crystal Beasts, or let you search your deck for a Rainbow Bridge card, or more specifically, send to the graveyard. But yeah, this card's pretty awesome. The only thing is you need to have an Ultimate Crystal monster in hand to activate it. So you need to have your Rainbow Dragon in hand, which isn't a problem, of course. You're going to grab it off your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. But if you open like really badly, sometimes this card can be a brick. But like, you have to open ridiculously bad for that to even be a possibility. It is also a quick play spell, which is important to bear in mind, because you can take advantage of that special summon a Crystal Beast monster during your opponent's turn to summon out a Pegasus. Pegasus places a card into your back row, and then that'll trigger your Rainbow Bridge of the Heart to bounce a card back to hand. So yeah, pretty good stuff overall. We've got Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, which can banish itself from the graveyard to add from your deck to your hand a Crystal Beast monster, as well as adding any field spell from your deck to your hand, which is awesome. Basically, it just gives you a copy of the Rainbow Dragon to your hand for its little special summon effect, as well as grabbing you either Necro Valley or Zombie World, depending on your matchup. If you're going blind, if you're going first and you don't know what your opponent's playing, typically Necro Valley is a little bit better, but Zombie World is also phenomenal. Stops tier elements dead, it stops Branded a lot heavier. There's a few things that Zombie World does. We've got Crystal Miracle. Now I'm playing... So Crystal Miracle and Crystal Conclave are some of your sort of more inherent interruptions. I kind of like the double Miracle at the minute. Not everyone plays double Miracle. I really like double Miracle. I just like the counter trap, the Omni Sword, and Negate. I think it's way more value right now. Basically, you just, whenever a spell or trap or monster is activated, destroy a Crystal Beast card you control, negate the activation, and destroy it. It also has a second effect, which I don't believe is very good. Let me see. Yeah, you can banish this card, place a Crystal Beast monster from your hand or deck in your face-up spell and trap card zone. Yeah, so it has a second effect, but it's not really all that important. You can maybe proc the second effect in a pinch to go for a Rainbow Bridge of the Heart play. But again, not going to come up very often. Crystal Conclave. 2 main effects on this card. Once per turn, if a Crystal Beast monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon another one from the deck. So this is good, especially in more sort of combo-oriented versions if you want to play more different Crystal Beasts. But in this version, it serves to basically, 1, keep you alive, and 2, to trigger off your Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. It also has a second effect where you can send this face-up card from your field to the graveyard to target a Crystal Beast card you control and any card on the field and return both to the hand. It's just another bounce, which is pretty awesome. So this card is solid. A lot of people play this at 3. You want to play it at 3, be my guest. I took 1 out to play a second Miracle, but you can play however many you want of each. And yeah, that's the main deck. The extra deck is pretty flexible. It's mainly just a culmination of all of the good rank 4 monsters. So you can sort of chop and change and customize this however much you want. We play Dweller to lock up people's graveyards. Chidori is pretty decent here. You on summon, you'll target a set card and return it to the bottom of the deck, or you can detach a material to target a face-up card and return it to the top of the deck. So basically just bounces a bunch of cards. Trident, Borbo, and Chakanine, so Chakanine will go into either Trident or Borbo. Borbo then facilitates your Zeus. Trident pops a face-up card once per turn. A lot of people might even play a second Chakanine just to use both of these in the confines of one game, but it doesn't come up super often. Tornado Dragon, quick effect, pop a back row card, pretty awesome. We got double Baguska. The Baguska is one of your primary defensive tools for going first, and it is something that you do want to summon quite a lot, considering none of your negates or interruptions rely upon monster effects, meaning Baguska is quite solid. Dugaris is pretty important, purely for hands where you open up with Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. You really want to get this card into the graveyard, and there's not really very much in the deck, or anything at all really, that has any discard cost. So if you ever open up with the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, you can use Dugaris' effect here to draw 2 cards and then discard a card to put it into the graveyard. That's basically it. His other effects don't really come up at all. Harbinger, for the once in a blue moon when you have multiple Rainbow Dragons on the field and you want to get a negate out of it. Again, doesn't happen very often, but it can do. If you were looking for a card to cut for a second Chakanine, that would be the one. And Zeus, because it's Zeus and you play Borbo. And lastly, a just generic link package, IP, Unicorn, Avramax, and Code Talker. Avramax, actually, now that I think about it, isn't even really summonable in this deck, so you can take that out and play something else. Maybe you put your Harbinger back in. But like I said, your extra deck plays very rarely extends beyond just summoning a rank 4. So I wouldn't worry too much about your extra deck. Again, if you don't have any of these URs or you don't want to play them, don't break your back over them. Like I said, it's purely optional. You can do whatever you want with the extra deck. Just focus around as many powerful rank 4s as you can, and you can't go wrong. But that is the deck for now. Let me bring up the full deck list again, just so we're all on the same page. Yeah, so here's the full deck list. Like I said, the only change we would make is, in hindsight, Avramax isn't even summonable in this new version of the deck. So you probably want to play a second Chakanine. But yeah, there you go. That's my take on Crystal Beasts. It is a deck that I don't really play super often, but I do like playing every now and then. If you want to learn more, if you want to ask any more questions, you can of course ask in the comments below. But if you want better answers, you're better off hopping into the Discord and asking people on there, myself included, of course. I respond to as many people as I can. But yeah, that'll do us. Subscribe if you got this far, like the video if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.